My name is Detective Wells with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Today is July 19th, 2008. Time is 21:53 hours. I'm sitting in front of the Hidden Oaks Elementary School at 9051 Suburban Drive, Orlando, Florida. And in the car with me is Kiomarie, and I probably said her name wrong, but it's Kiomarie, middle initial J, Torres Cruz with a Z, white female. She presented her Florida ID, driver's license. This is in reference to Caylee Anderson, missing juvenile, case number 08069-208. Kio is what they call you, right, Kio? Kio.
Yeah.
I butchered your name, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's okay.
You see I have a tape recorder.
Mm-hmm.
I have your permission to have the tape recorder on recording our conversation.
Yes, you do.
Have I promised you, threatened you, or coerced you in any way in order for you to sit here and talk to me on tape?
No, you have not. I came willingly.
All right. At any time while we're talking, if you don't want to answer a question, if you want to get out, the doors aren't locked, you're more than welcome just to say, I'm done, thank you, and you can leave, okay? I'm not keeping you here. I do appreciate your cooperation, though. Where do I start? I received a phone call from you at about 8:30 where you introduced yourself and you gave me a little history about how you know Casey. Mm-hmm. You want to go through that history again for me?
I met Casey when we moved here when I was going to the 6th grade. So it had been a couple years ago. I'm 21, turning 22. I graduated a class of 2004 from Colonial High School. And we were both going to Liberty Middle School at the time. And I had first met Jessica Kelly, who I haven't seen her for years. And through Jessica Kelly, I met Casey. And we pretty much became all really good friends. We became the Unstoppable Trio. Then Jessica showed us this hiding spot behind Hidden Oaks Elementary School. And back in the day, there was no fences put up here. There was just like a dirt hill, and you can go back there with your bicycles. And there's 2 different spots back there where we used to hang out at. And we pretty much hung out there most of our time. We used to bring blankets and picnic baskets and just steal food from our houses and bring it out there and just snack on food for hours until the lights came on when we had to go home. Pretty much just to get away from our parents, which used to drive us up the walls, especially in middle school. And then we stopped going there once freshman year hit.
Would you say that this was a favorite place for you guys to come just kind of hang out?
It was. It really was. Every day, pretty much. There were some days where she had track meets with Jessica, and I'd come out here by myself, or basketball games with Jessica, and it would usually be just me and Casey that would come back out here, and we would just talk for hours and hours.
Did you know, when y'all first met, you were in middle school?
Yes.
And did you go to high school together?
We did. We went to Colonial High School together.
Did y'all graduate the same year?
Yes, we did. 2004.
Do you recall when or if does Casey have a child?
She does. She has a little baby girl. I know that happened after we graduated. I actually had met her again. I lost contact with her after 2004, and then I started working at Universal Studios, and then I ran into her in the park.
Did she work at Universal Studios?
She did.
Did y'all work together in the same area?
We did at one point. She worked for Kodak. I actually worked for attractions and entertainment. And we met up at a Halloween Horror Night party, and then I met her again in the park one time. And then ever since then, I haven't really seen her like full time there. I know she dropped down seasonally after she had the baby, so I know that.
Okay. What did you talk to her? You shared with me on our long walk back through that fenced area.
Yep.
About that you weren't able to have any children. Is that correct?
Yes. I've been told about the doctor. The doctor had told us years ago. I had gone to go get an exam, and the doctor said that unfortunately, because of my condition, that am supposed to not have children. So when Casey found out she was pregnant, I asked her, "What are you going to do about it?" And she was like, "I really want to give it up for adoption." And so I figured, it's a good idea, since I can't have kids, and I know Casey's a cute girl, and it's a baby, and it's perfect, and I had money at the time, and I was doing pretty good. So I said, well, if you are going to give it up for her adoption, then, I'm strongly considering adopting the baby from you. She said that's a good idea. But then she called me back saying that her mom pretty much has told her that no, that she needs to keep the baby and that she's not giving it up for adoption, even though she really did not want to have the baby.
Do you know who the baby's daddy was or is?
I know I met him at one point, but I don't know what his name was or nothing, which is really, really sad.
Yeah.
I know when we were kids, I wasn't allowed in the house. When her mom was home, that was the rule. I wasn't allowed in the house, but when her dad was home, he was cool with me there. Casey had told me one time that because I was Spanish, that I wasn't allowed in the house.
When was the last time you actually saw Casey?
It would have been 2 or 3 months ago, so it either would have been in April. I'm trying to think. It was right after I got terminated from Universal, so it would have been about April, mid-April.
Where did you see her?
At Walmart, the Supercenter Walmart on Goldenrod and Lee Vista.
Yeah.
Was that her Hoffner?
Did she have anybody with her?
No, she was just by herself walking around.
She didn't have her daughter with her?
Nope, she had nothing. She just had her purse and she was walking around.
Did y'all talk?
Oh yeah, I was like, hey Casey, and she's like, hey, and then we sat there and we talked. I was like, how's the baby? She's like, doing good, and I asked her, if she was working. She said she was working full-time at Universal again, which I found kind of strange because I hadn't seen her. She had told me she was working at the Mummy at the time, which when I was terminated, I was working at the Mummy, and every time I went down to the gift shop, I would never see her.
Right.
So, I mean, I found that kind of strange, but I figured, it's Casey. I'm not going to, be mean to her or whatever. So she had asked me where I was working. I was like, oh, I'm still working in attractions, and then I just got termed about a week ago for a huge issue. And she was like, oh, wow, that sucks, So I gave her my phone number, and I was like, hey, if you ever need anything, feel free to call me. I hope everything's good with the baby, and I guess I'll see you later. And that was it. And then she called me on July 9th, which would have been Wednesday.
And I'm going to get my phone out because I'm terrible with dates. But how do you know that day? What is that day?
It's actually, I have Thursdays and Fridays off for my job, and it would have been on a Wednesday that she had called me.
And July 9th is on a Wednesday.
Yes. And I would have been just getting home, relaxing, getting changed, hanging out with my little puppy dogs, and the phone rang. And it was a number that I didn't know because I have Casey's number, which I'll give you. Get my phone.
Oh, you got one of those cool phones.
Ugh, it's not really cool. I hate this phone.
Oh, I see.
Let's see. Casey.
So when her number shows up, her name shows up.
Her name shows up.
And the number you have for Casey is
407-619-9286.
Okay, so when her name pops up when she calls.
And that's the number she had given me at Walmart.
Okay. So on July 9th, her name didn't pop up.
Nope. A different
number
number
did.
Yep, and I thought it was one of my guests because I work for a company called American Holidays. And usually we have VIP guests or guests that I have a really good relationship with that I know I have issues with children or something. I give them my personal cell phone number. That way they can call me. So I figured it was one of my guests calling me. And it was a 407 number because usually I won't answer phone numbers from like a 1863 or whatever.
Right.
It's just usually either 407 or 321. And I know it was a 407 number that it did call me. And so I was like, hello, this is Kio. How can I help you? And she was like, Kio, it's Casey. I'm like, hey, what's going on, girl? And she had said, hey, I'm in a bind. And I know you always said I can count on you, but can I borrow some money? And I said, well, how much do you need? And she's like, 150, 200. And I said, you know what? Sure. Just give me a call back when you have directions to get to your place so I can come by and drop it off to you. And she said, sure, I'll call you back later. And then in the background, during the conversation, I remember hearing the little one going, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. And I think she said something about the TV. And Casey had said to her, she's like, honey, I'm on the phone right now.
And I want to stop right there just for a minute. You're hearing this voice. You're hearing a voice other than Casey, and it's a small child. And did it actually say "mommy, mommy, mommy"?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you recognize Kaylee's voice?
I've only met her maybe once or twice, and it sounded kind of like her. I know I met her once when she was really tiny.
Right.
And then I met her again probably about, I don't know, maybe.
And that's why I was asking
ago.
you. A lot of kids sound alike, but this voice was saying,
It was definitely mommy.
mommy.
And it was
sure
a little girl. It was a little girl saying it.